Hey, what is going on, my people? Those of you who know me know that I usually put out content on the weekends, usually Sunday. But we have the Gruesome Threesome coming up for my chemo on this Friday. So I thought I'd get the SITREP out a little bit early. So it's early, it's Wednesday, the 12th of May, and this is SITREP 70 coming right at you. So I try to put God first in everything I do in my life. And to be honest, I fail every day. But I do my best. I do my best to try and keep him in mind in most everything that I do. Anybody that knows me and has been to the channel before knows I put God first on this channel as well. So this week I want to turn you guys on to a woman that I get a lot of inspiration from, especially in pain and suffering. Her name is Joni Eareckson Tada or Tada. She's published a bunch of books. She's got a really cool story. She had an accident when she was a young teen that made her quadriplegic. I'm not going to continue on with the story. I'm going to put a link below. I'm just asking that you give it a click. It's only like a 5-minute video. It's just a quick, her telling her story. But it's only, like I said, it's a quick video, and it'll bring up a whole bunch of other videos about her. If you wanna meet a really cool woman who is accomplished and living with a bunch of pain and a bunch of suffering and just living through a bunch of bad things, and the only thing that's keeping her alive is Jesus, you gotta check out Joni. All right, if you think things are going bad for you, you gotta check out Joni. All right, that's all I can say about it. So please, I'll put a link to her quick story below in the description. Please check her out. All right, thanks guys. So I come bearing bad news. This is my Yamaha F325, and the bad news is she is going to have to be moving on to greener pastures. Actually, she didn't have to, but she decided to. Let me see if I can show you this. I was tuning her up the other day, and well, I have to talk about some nerd stuff here, some musician nerd stuff. So, essentially, I had an electronic tuner, and I was tuning the high E, and the tuner was telling me it was like a B. And I'm like, what the heck? So I had the option to, go down to E or go up to E. And I thought, it sounds kind of flat, kind of low. So I'm going to go up to E. So I'm cranking. I'm hearing some creaking. I'm thinking, man, that's an awful long way to crank to bring this up. But yeah, I'm close. I'm getting close. It's tuned. Good to go. I moved on to the B string, and it also is like 3 notes low. So I'm like, okay, cranking. By the time I get to the G string, now I'm hearing like wood noises, but they're not creaking. It's almost like, I don't know, I can hear wood fibers. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? So I stop and I look, and look at the bridge. I about ripped the bridge right off the daggone guitar. So I don't know to this day. I don't know what happened, if it was the tuner Now this was a Fender tuner app that I got off the App Store. I don't know if I missed something to set up. I've used it before and I didn't damage anything. So I don't know what the heck happened, but it gave birth to this FSX, excuse me, 800C. So look at that. Sunburst finish. She's got a maple fretboard, mahogany top. It's actually, I don't know if it's mahogany. No, it's not mahogany. What do they call it? NATO. The wood is called NATO, I think. I never heard of NATO, and it's spelled just like the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. But yeah. So I was talking about octaves, guys. These are octaves. So this is a low E. And this is a high E. Yeah, I can't sing. That's why I'm a backup singer or background singer. I'm way in the background. But yeah, this is my new guitar. I paid $350 new for it. This is my first ever new guitar. The cool thing about this is it's an electric acoustic too, so I can plug into an amp if I need to, if I want to. And so this will be, my daughter expressed a desire to learn how to play guitar. So believe it or not, there's some songs out there that you only need 2 notes and you can play them. But there is several 3-chord combinations that you can sing literally hundreds of tunes with these 3 notes. So easy breezy. I'm going to teach you those and we'll go from there. And yeah, so and the way you can kind of tell a decent guitar is playing open E and it should just sing to you. Yeah. Yeah, she's singing that. She actually felt really good in my hands. I only paid $350 for it. So, I mean, consider it's brand new, brand name, it's Yamaha. And, you know, she sounds awesome. So, well worth it. I love it. So that's it. That's the guitar story for this one. One is gone, so another one can be born. So this guy right here, this is a guy named Scott. And Scott has a YouTube channel called Kentucky Ballistics. And on there, he does all kinds of cool stuff at Pop House. He shoots watermelons. He just does all kinds of crazy stuff. Shoots cans of, big cans of like pudding and just all kinds of fun stuff like that. Well, 3 weeks ago, he was shooting a 50 cal rifle, 50 caliber. For those of you who have no idea what that is, it's primarily used by the military, snipers, and bigger combat vehicles. Actually, Humvees have 50 calibers mounted on them as well. So, but it's the primary thing that we use to reach out and touch somebody out about a half mile away or so. Here's a little chart showing the comparison of ammunition to give you an idea. So what you see right here is the 45 ACP, the 9mm, and the 38. Those are pistol rounds, and that's primarily what the police carry. Most pistols that are in use that people carry around, those are the bullets that go in those guns. Okay. And then you see this 5.56mm here, the 223. That is M16, the dreaded AR-15, M4 carbine carried by our Army. That's that bullet. And then you see the 50 cal the 50 cal off to the right, the BMG. That bullet right there is what Scott was fired about 3 weeks ago. Now I'm very, very familiar with 50 cal. I have fired thousands and thousands of rounds because it's the tank commander's weapon up on top of the tank is a 50 cal machine gun. So as a matter of fact, I attribute most of my hearing loss of my right ear to a 50 cal going off right next to my face. Anyway, Scott was messing around with the 50 cal rifle on his range one day, and just like he always does, and unbeknownst to him, the bullets that he was firing had way too much powder packed in them. And go back and look at the footage now, you can see the muzzle flash, the flash after he fired the first couple of rounds was these huge fireballs coming out of the rifle, but he didn't realize that at the time. And like the third bullet that he fired made the rifle explode. I mean, the gun literally blew apart, and a piece went into his chest, cut his throat open. It basically severed his aorta. It didn't sever, but it ripped his aorta open. The one thing that saved his life, he was a police officer in a previous life, and he knew quite a bit about first aid, apparently. So what he did was, he realized, blood was squirting out of him. The only thing he'd think to do was take his thumb and stick it down inside his chest and find the spot where the blood was coming from and stick his thumb in it. He literally put a thumb in it. So since then, he had t-shirts made. Now again, this is a couple weeks ago, right? He had these shirts made, and I ordered one, and here's the shirt here. Right, so put a thumb in it. So how prophetic is that? If you guys didn't know, the night before last, I ended up in the ER. I accidentally yanked my feed tube out of my stomach. If you haven't seen the video, it's on my site. It's right there. But anyway, at any rate, when that happened, I had a napkin in my hand. The only thing I think of was stick my finger in it to stop the fluids from coming out of my stomach. So I thought that was kind of funny. Thank God nothing happened to me like it did to Scott. And Scott, if you see this, man, I wish you the best. Speedy recovery. By the way, here's a picture of Scott in the aftermath. This is what he looks like right now. So yeah, Scott, man, best of luck to you healing, brother. I hope everything works out for the best. I'm glad to see you made it through this, and God bless you, man. So yeah, just put a thumb in it, man. So on the medical side of things this week, my daughter had come to me about a month and a half ago, maybe even 2.5 months ago. It was a while ago. And she said, hey, here's a list of topics that, just suggestions of stuff you might want to, cover in some of your videos. And her idea was that I could do a series. And part of the series would be like, how has my pain or the pain management gone throughout the history of my disease? Or, how has my sleep been? Or how has my energy been? And one of the suggestions should have a speech. Because as you can hear right now, my speech has been impeded by, this process. And so out of the blue, I picked speech. And earlier in the week, I decided to, do the research on it. And I looked back through, I just picked randomly some SITREPs out. I picked the first one, obviously, as kind of the baseline. And then I picked one about, 6 months or so thereafter, just to see if there was much change in my speech. Now, the only thing I really noticed was the two obvious things. In my first intro video, my voice seemed a little bit higher. Now, I had much more weight at the time. I don't know if that's had anything to do with it, but yeah, my voice sounded a little higher. Now, I'm not going to say squeaky, but a little higher. But my speech was clear. I had no lisp. I had no pronunciation issues or anything like that. And then the next change that you see was after the April 28th surgery, where I had the radical tonsillectomy on the right side of my throat, where all this tissue was cut out. And part of that process was she cut into my soft palate a little bit, and also the radiation and the muscle tissue that she removed as well, kind of cut back my ability for my tongue to seal the gap in the back of my throat to include where your tongue closes off against the soft palate. So it's trying to make words like S or do things like spit when you have to build up pressure in your nasal pharynx, I can't do, because I can't stop the pressure from leaking through to my oral pharynx down to my mouth area, and vice versa. So the pressure goes between those two areas, and I can't stop it because I can't seal off my soft palate. Well, after 6 months after my surgery in April of 2020, that issue kind of went away. And if you look back at my videos after that, and I'm talking around circa, let's see, SITREP 60, I think, 69 in there, you can hear that I don't have, I might have a little bit of a lisp, but I pronounce all my words and my letters very well. And I don't have this thing that you can hear right now, almost like I'm partially deaf. Can you hear it? Anyway, I started noticing that within the last 2 SITREPs. And the strange thing is, it happens to coincide, if you recall, with this, this tumor that's growing through from my nasopharynx through into my oropharynx. The one that's blocked off my eustachian tube that I highlighted a couple SITREPs ago. Yeah, that one. So it looks like now that's also interfering with my soft palate as well. So it also coincides with pain. Now, I'm going to transition into pain management here. So you guys know, at least I've mentioned before, the maximum pain meds that I was on, I was taking up to 137 micrograms of fentanyl, which I still take every day. It's on a patch that I swap out every 3 days. Along with that, I do 90 to 120 milligrams of fast release or instant release morphine when I do my stretches for my trismus or my lockjaw. So I take those those 90 milligrams, and then about an hour later I can do my exercises, and it's doable. It's doable. I can go up to 120 milligrams too when I do that, right? And then I have another up to 120 milligrams a day of morphine that I can take for what they call breakout pain. Now that breakout pain is just residual pain that I have on top of the fentanyl. This is pain that the fentanyl can't control. And one of the main reasons I used it was like driving my car. You know, I have a Mustang GT. It's not built for comfort, it's built for speed and beauty, okay? And but the seats are they're not very comfortable, right? It's not a Cadillac. It's not a Lincoln. So, you know, it's kind of stiff and it's kind of bumpy, and it pushes in on my right rib. As you know, I have a tumor that's eaten into my 11th rib on the right side. So again, the fentanyl kind of keeps that pain in check. But sometimes I have to take 30 milligrams of morphine because, like, if I'm driving my car, if I'm going to drive my car, I know I'm going to drive my car, I'll go and take the morphine because I know my back is going to hurt from driving the car, right? So about 3 weeks ago, I weaned off and I pretty much stopped taking the morphine for breakout pain. I was just taking it for my stretches because I think the chemotherapy was starting to work a little bit, and it was starting to reduce the size of the tumors, or at least stop them from growing, and was reducing the pain from them. So I was primarily only taking the morphine for my stretches in the evening after dinner. Well, lately I started taking the morphine for breakout pain again in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And I was starting to think that maybe the morphine wasn't working. And that scares me because if anything happens with this morphine, they're going to pull me off of this routine or this regimen, and they're going to put me on the next best one, right? It's going to be reminiscent of what happened with Keytruda, all right? Keytruda stopped working, they pulled me off it, they did the next best thing. What was that? Chemotherapy. And the regimen I'm on right now gives me the best shot of having the best quality of life for the longest amount of time that I have left, right? Well, if this chemo isn't working, then I get pulled off of this regimen and I get put on the next best thing. Now, I don't look forward to that. It would not be a good thing. It'd be the best thing that I have going, but it's not optimal. Let's just put it that way, right? So it's kind of funny that, doing an analysis of my speech over the last year and a half, year and 3/4 almost, has kind of driven me to the conclusion that, or a kind of a side analysis that of pain management, and that, this tumor, I believe, is not responding to the chemo. I think maybe the other ones are, but this one for some reason just seems to be more aggressive. I don't know what it is. It's all the same. It's all the same cancer. Biopsy they took on my lung proved that the cancer on my lung is squamous cell carcinoma, which is the same thing that's in my throat. So at this point, I'll get a chance to sit down with Dr. Gopalan this week, and I'm going to be sure to bring this up, and I'm sure we'll have a lengthy discussion on what she thinks is going on. So yeah, pretty interesting anyway, to say the least, right? We shall see. We shall see when I talk to Dr. G. I'm a rhymer and I don't even know it. So I think that's where we're going to close this one up, guys. As always, thanks for checking out my channel. If you'd be so kind, make sure you leave us a like, and please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you know anybody that has cancer or had a scare, or you think might be interested in some of the stuff that I cover cancer-wise on this channel, please make sure and share the channel with them, okay? Hope everybody's doing okay out there. Make sure you love the ones around you. Take some time to take care of yourself, guys. And with that, have a blessed weekend. And until next time, we'll see you. I'm Blue, and I'm out here.